We're going to move forward with the Corporate Empowerment Award. Here to present the award is Representative Laura Richardson from the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Committee on Homeland Security, I believe coming all the way from California. And she will present that award to Jimmie Lee Solomon. Please join me in welcoming Representative Richardson.
I was telling him I was cheering for him on that show. You know, tonight is a special night for many of our honorees, and I'm so thrilled to be here. As Ms. Johnson said, so many of our colleagues are here. It's always an honor when you can be in their presence, especially if they're getting their righteous due of encouragement. Tonight, for Mr. Clyburn, who's receiving an award, I just want to say he's my leader that I consider when I go to on caucus issues, leadership issues, kind of what's going on, of how we need to move forward. I really seek his counsel. And to Mr. Payne, for your wisdom and commitment to Africa, has really taught me a lot about my homeland and more of what we need to do. So a special congratulations to both of you, my colleagues. Another quick shout out before I get into singing my praises about Jimmie Solomon. I'd like to say to Jimmy Williams and Leroy Walker, and of course who was just honored, Mr. Roland Parrish, I attribute to you in Congress, you're the reason why I never take no for an answer. I worked in McDonald's as a teenager in high school, and I learned to say after each order, would you like a large fry with that, or also a milkshake with that quarter pounder? And if I didn't get the answer on that today, I would say, well, how about that $1 sweet tea that you have? So I was trained at a very early age, and it was a tough job, but it was a good job because it taught me how to count money quickly, how to really listen, and also to understand the quality in a brand. So McDonald's and Mr. Parrish, congratulations as well tonight. So I've got to keep up the pace and make sure that we're keeping this moving. I want to give special honor tonight to Mr. Jimmie Lee Solomon. He's a good friend, and he's a friend in particular to the community that I represent. Although I could spend hours talking about him, I won't, because I know we've got a long dinner ahead and many people to honor. But I think it's important that you know he's receiving an award tonight, the corporate award, but it's important to know statistically what he's been involved with. In 1991, after 10 years of working in corporate America, Jimmie had the opportunity to come and work with Major League Baseball. Now, I'm a basketball player myself, and many of the other sports have kind of taken the forefront in terms of what African Americans focus on in terms of an industry. That would be everyone except for my colleague, Mr. Cedric Richmond, who's a great baseball player himself. But Mr. Jimmie Lee Solomon, he previously was the executive director of the minor league operations, a post previously he held where he oversaw 17 minor league baseball organizations, 171 major clubs, and he was instrumental in negotiating an unprecedented 10-year, $170 million contract. Now, you might say, why would I talk about that? Well, because the minor league is the step that many athletes have an opportunity to actually get to the major league. Jimmie was also instrumental in establishing the Major League Baseball civil rights game. Many of us in this room, it being a minority awards program, knows of the historical baseball players that we had who were leading even long before Jackie Robinson integrated baseball. And so by him bringing back that civil rights game, having people have pride of those teams and the work that those players did has been instrumental in our community. Some of the problems within Major League Baseball that Jimmie saw and he was tasked with helping to fix was back in 1996, African American players were about 17% of those who played. In 2010, that number dropped to 10%. What Jimmie has been able to do is Major League Baseball has increased their African American players for the first time in over 15 years. Those are good players that are having an opportunity to make a decent living, but also to be able to help others in our community as well. Finally, why I think I was asked to give this honor today to Mr. Solomon is the fact that he was instrumental in creating urban academies, being able to teach the young people at very young ages. In my district in Compton, they started the first Urban Youth Academy, where it has served over 10,000 young boys and girls ages 7 to 18. Every week, 200 youth are served by the Academy's baseball and softball training. Not only has it helped the young individuals to learn the sport of baseball, but this academy is held on the former Compton College location. So Compton College, for the first time in years, has now had unprecedented winning seasons, and this last year they went to the playoffs. And that was because of the training, the batting, all of that existed in this urban academy. So with that, if you'd pause for a moment for our brief video, and then I'll be honored to present this award. Thank you very much.
Since Jackie Robinson stepped up to the plate, Major League Baseball has been in the forefront of the civil rights movement.
Baseball integrated before the armed forces, before public schools. Baseball created the grand experiment, if you will, for integration in our society.
And it continues to do so today. In an effort spearheaded by Jimmie Lee Solomon, Major League Baseball celebrates the works of these pioneers every year at the Civil Rights Game.
To remember and to pay tribute to all those who have devoted themselves and their lives to the civil rights movement.
Started in 2007, the Civil Rights Game is celebrating the great men and women who have fought for equality in America. Proceeds from the game and ancillary events go to charities that promote education and civil rights.
I have loved baseball all my life, and I have revered the role it played in America's struggle to overcome its racial divisions and dark history.
Jimmie Lee has helped Major League Baseball take its efforts even further, reaching out to children with initiatives to continue to embrace diversity and combat inequalities that may still exist today.
We provide coaching clinics, scouting clinics, journalism clinics, public relations clinics. Let's just assume that the person's not a good ball player. He or she can't play baseball. Let's assume that he or she has no interest in any of the jobs that we provide in our industry. But they come out and they have a good time, they learn camaraderie, they learn leadership skills, they learn to win, to lose, they learn to be a person who is acclimated to a societal setting.
Starting with the inaugural Urban Youth Academy in Compton, Major League Baseball has created brick-and-mortar presences in the inner cities that are devoted to creating chances for youth to learn more about baseball and, in the process, giving them a chance in society.
When you invest in kids, it's a return that will constantly come back. And these are sports teams that have taken the time to invest in this community to benefit thousands of kids. And I think the return will come back over and over again for the entire city.
And with the Civil Rights Game, the Urban Youth Academies, and various other initiatives, Jimmie Lee is leading Major League Baseball to achieve new heights in the civil rights movement and giving inner city youth a chance to succeed.
Although Jimmie Lee Solomon is unable to attend tonight's event, we celebrate his unwavering commitment to minority businesses and elevating the status of minority communities across the country, even, yes, in Major League Baseball. Therefore, it's with great honor that I welcome Jimmie's daughter here with us tonight, Ms. Tricia Solomon, who is accepting the Corporate Empowerment Award on his behalf. Tricia?
Wow, I am so nervous, and the lights are so bright. I was sitting there, and I jotted down a few notes, and I said, I'm going to say something profound. All these wonderful people have said so many things tonight. And I sat, and my heart started beating really fast, and I said, I'm going to speak from my heart. And I'm nervous, because it's the first time I've ever said this in public. A lot of people don't know, I actually met my father when I was 16. I did not know him all my life. And we met like it was a fluke. I was in Richmond, Texas. I grew up extremely poor. I'm running through the halls of Lamar Junior High School, and I'm stopped by the assistant principal of our school. Richard Smith was his name. And he says, I want you to meet somebody. And this man, he turns around, And he looks just like me. That's the crazy thing. So we're both looking like, who is this person? And he introduced us for one simple reason, that in the history of our school, there were only 2 freshmen who had won state in the 100. And it was Jimmie Lee Solomon and me. So I went on. Now, I still didn't know this was my father, so I went on. I'm running. I didn't want to sit in the breakfast room, as most of us had to do when you get free breakfast. I'm going to the Black Awareness Club meeting. So in Texas, we had to know we were black, so they made us aware. So I go to this meeting, and lo and behold, who's the guest speaker? Jimmie Lee Solomon. So he's speaking, and he's asking questions of the kids, and he's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be an attorney. And he was like, oh, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, no, it's a thankless job, your clients hate you, it's gonna be hard. So I was like, I still want to do it. So he goes on, and as I'm leaving, he stops me, and he says, what's your mama's name? And I said, Jan. And he said, you have an aunt named Gwen? I said, yeah, that's her. Your grandmother's name is Veda, right? I said, yes, that's them. And he said, can I get your grandmother's number? I went to school with your mother, so I would like to reach out to your mom. And this is 2 days before my 16th birthday. So we're September 10th, 1990. 2 days later, my mom comes down, because I was raised by my grandmother. And we're at the best steakhouse in Richmond, Texas, which was Longhorn, so it wasn't that good, but it was great to us. And my mom, they talk, and next thing I know, she says, well, this is your daddy. So that was my invitation and my introduction to my dad. But from that day, my life changed dramatically. Within a year, I lived in D.C. with my father. I was at Wilson High School. I went to George Washington University on an academic scholarship. I now live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have a 6-year-old of my own, and I'm a practicing attorney. And so I said all that this evening to say that, we have the Game Changers theme here, but I will venture to say that my dad is a life changer. And I see that in the Urban Youth Academies, I see that in the Civil Rights Games, and I see that all the love and generosity that he showed to me in changing my life, a poor little girl from Richmond, Texas. I see that in his spirit in giving back to the communities and helping others achieve their dreams, and realize that there's so much more we can do, and we don't have to be limited to our circumstances. And so I say thank you on behalf of my father and on behalf of myself for this award. So thank you very much.